everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of GOQii's Health Talk. Imagine if you've been told by many doctors that you can never walk again, and that too because of a condition which you possibly have never, or many people here have never heard of. It's called the AVN injury. Imagine if you have to be in a COVID ICU for days without knowing what is going to happen. But in spite of all this, imagine a recovery where you are coming back more stronger, more healthier. This is a story of resilience, self-determination, and a positive outlook towards life. And who better than a very good friend and somebody who is a role model to many around the world. Today, my guest is Abhijit Bhave, CEO of Fisdom, a private health company who truly believes in the mantra that health is wealth. And he is truly a millionaire or a billionaire as far as health is concerned. Welcome to the show, Abhijit.
Thank you so much, Vishal. Thank you so much. I've been a great fan and follower of GOQii for a long time, and of you also. So it's a pleasure to be here.
No, I think, Abhijit, today's show is all about you. I think your inspiring journey of dealing with some really, really serious health issues and then directly jumping into COVID and coming out so much stronger is so inspiring. So what I actually want to do, and you are very active on LinkedIn, and you did this amazing post on LinkedIn also, where you literally shared your COVID presentation on how you handled. So I'm actually going to start with those slides for everyone. It will be good to get some context from you while I present the slides. So I hope everybody can see the slides now. So if you look at your COVID experience, you have put these photographs of various stages of you, but one thing which is common is you are smiling all the time. Yeah. So tell me, I mean, your pre-COVID look, of course, you're smart and dashing, and you've been exercising and you've been very active. So what happened? Could you give us a background on how did you get infected, and what got you to the whole COVID ward?
First, about the smile, I think it's inspired by my wife of 20 years because she keeps on smiling, and I think it's a very contagious kind of smile. But I was paranoid about washing my hands and putting the mask on. But I used to go to office thrice a week, so I think must be one of those lift kind of contacts. But when I got COVID, I was absolutely not scared at all because I thought hota hai, sabko ho raha hai, mujhe bhi ho gaya. But it just did not go away. And there's this English idiom which says man proposes, God disposes, man, and my addition is man plans and God laughs. So yeah. Completely unexpected just happened. And it was in hindsight, a fantastic experience. That's what I can say, because if I had not smiled through, I wouldn't have got through.
And you being the CEO, you are giving your advice to people. So you came with this the fear factor and the 3 mistakes to avoid. Yeah. So could you run us through what did you think were your mistakes, and how could it have gone differently had you avoided this?
So, like a lot of so-called professionals, work takes priority. And I kept on postponing my vaccination appointment because I had important meetings. So that was the first mistake. I postponed it. Secondly, I had this high fever for 10 days and I was taking paracetamol thrice a day. Fever did not go down, but doctors told me, nahi, chinta mat karo, ho jayega theek karke. And I think the CT scan, I think, is very critical. I did not do it. And by the time I did it, I had around 75-80% kind of affected lungs. Wow. So these three are learnings which I would actually want people to know.
And you give a lot of credit to the medical team of superheroes. So tell us, how did the doctors and the medical staff treat you in, I believe you were in Raheja Hospital's COVID ICU?
So, on the lighter note, and I'm a middle class Maharashtrian, and as a child, my mother always told me, 3 jagah mat jana life mein, court mein mat jana, police station mein mat jana, don't go to the hospital. And as luck would have it, in my entire life, I had never been admitted. And as I sit here in Bandra, I can see the Reja Hospital from my window. And I think it was an amazing experience. My respect for doctors has gone, I think, to infinite. The way, because, I actually, Vishal, saw in the ICU people dying around me. And these doctors and the entire support staff in their PP suit completely inside, but being very positive. The atmosphere in the ICU, you'll not believe, was like a pub. They used to play music loud, and one day, once my main mask was off, I was made the DJ for 1 hour, and I was playing the music. Seriously, I was playing the music on my phone, and they said, "Aapko kuch bhi chalta hai, jo karna hai aap karo." So I think it was the entire culture, and at any cost save lives. I think that is something. That's why I said I saw God working through the doctors and the medical staff, not just the doctors. Every single person.
That's a big statement to make, that you saw God working through them. But it's amazing that you also talked about the emotional roller coaster. Not many people talk about this. सबको लगता है हाँ बीमार हुए, hospital गए and दवाई लिया, 2-3-4-5 दिन थे और आप आ गए. You had a very long stay in the ICU, right?
Yeah, I was in the ICU for 12 days.
12 days. Wow. And tell me, how was the emotional roller coaster, and how did you go through all these 9 stages you talk about?
So it's actually very difficult to visualize now because it was an unplanned thing. But when I look back, I can put it through in these navrasas. Otherwise, at one moment I was laughing, at the other moment I was crying. I had no idea. I was just going through it. I'll just give you one small example. In the first 4 days, I had this massive mask. It is actually a non-invasive ventilator, and
this one, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm smiling there, but you can't smile. It's completely full of sound, full of noise, and I have specs, so I could not see properly. I could not hear properly, and I can't eat also. I had to be fed. So one day I just was completely kind of distraught. But then I told myself, let me believe that I'm an astronaut and I'm inside that mask and I'm going to Mars. And I just kept on enjoying that thing, saying, "Chalo, abhi ye Venus aa gaya," whatever. That kind of, not Venus, but that kind of thing, saying asteroid aa gaya. I said, I am just going to Mars and I'm enjoying my journey as an astronaut. That's all I could do. But I think after first day, I just decided to be the most positive person around in that ICU. Otherwise, there was no point. Half glass full is something I've always believed, and I think that is what also I kept on believing. And these emotions just kept and went. It's like a post-mortem when I come out, but it's not in any sequence.
Wow, it's amazing. So tell me something. How was your, the fight back which you talk about in the ICU, right? So how were the different stages? What happened?
So, सबसे पहले तो वही question था ना, why me? Why me? And a fight or flight. Unfortunately, I've seen a patient next to him. I remember his name also. His name was Maruti. He just gave up. He was on a ventilator and he remained on the ventilator and he just died after that. So in the stage 1 was why me. Stage 2 was fight karna hai ya nahi karna hai. But the other thing is, in COVID, the recovery is not linear. At least my recovery was not. So I improved one day. I said, "Chalo, abhi kal ICU se nikal denge, khatak karke." So it happened twice to me. I was about to be discharged from the ICU, and then again my health went worse off. So ups and downs happened, or whatever. The road was a zigzag road, and anxiety, frustration kept on coming in. But finally, when the recovery happened, I think the only feelings I have and I had were of gratitude. But I realized sitting in the ICU that I have got so many friends and so many well-wishers that it really was an amazing feeling. I wouldn't have realized that if this kind of a thing had not happened to me.
And tell me, what was the state of your family? I know you did video calls to your family, but लोग आ भी नहीं सकते थे, कोई ICU में नहीं आ सकता है. मतलब, what was happening mentally with your wife and other people in your family?
So my wife also had COVID. My son, who was 13, now is 14, also had COVID. So it was quite a sad. So I can't know what she went through, and she can't know what I went through. But it was very difficult on them, and I think they stood by as a big rock for me.
Yeah, and I can clearly see you were too much into music of all kinds, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I had my gym playlist and I used to play those raunchy Bollywood numbers at full volume.
Burj Khalifa. That's amazing. But clearly, you had a happy ending, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
were out of the ICU, and I could see you enjoying an ice cream. And I think you then quickly bounced back, right? I mean, I think within days or weeks of your discharge, you were back on your feet.
Yeah. So, the way COVID works, I hope that nobody really has to go through it. You can't just breathe. So when I was even out of the COVID ICU, I could not breathe beyond a few seconds, and the panic attacks started coming in.
Hmm.
So normal breathing is 1 to 10. My breathing was 1 to 2. So I have been doing yoga for the last 3.5 years. So the good thing was after that daily morning on Zoom, my yoga sir and I, we were doing pranaya. That helped me calm myself down with the meditation and also get my breathing slightly longer. After a week, I started walking, and just imagine this 500 steps only. But it's laughable, but it was difficult at that time. And then I went on increasing that, and it just happened. And I think I have my lifetime high is 30,000 steps, but with my GOQii band, I want to touch 50,000 and then a lakh, possibly. It's
Wow,
not.
and I can see your September 18th at 25,000 steps and September 29th August at 20,000 steps. It's phenomenal, Abhijit. I mean, I wanted everybody to see this because to just show that you also were able to deliver leadership lessons. I think what you are talking about here was not some patient saying ki how I recovered from COVID, right? It was not that. I think you broke it down into what were the challenges, what helped you overcome those challenges, and then you finally showed how you kind of now went back at 25,000 steps. I mean, no wonder you are a CEO of a wealth management company which is helping people manage their wealth. But here is where I want to go to another topic which again you have dealt with, and clearly this is something which not many people have heard about. I heard about this condition for the first time, AVN. So please explain all our listeners what exactly is this AVN, and what is this condition and how did you deal with this?
So I'll just take a slightly extra minute, because I had never heard of AVN, and I used to be a regular guy doing gymming. And slowly but surely, my right thigh started paining when I used to do weights and all, and it just kept on increasing. And I kept on doing normal stuff, did not really work. I got an X-ray done, and the X-ray showed nothing. So I went to a doctor. He said, "तुम ये painkiller खा लो, do these physiotherapy sessions and सब ठीक हो जाएगा." After 2 months, he said, Abhijit, there's something wrong. You're perfectly fine. I think it's psychological. And I was 34, 35 at that time. So तुमको stress बहुत है, मुझे लगता है तुमको pain है ही नहीं. Why don't you be a psychiatrist? And he actually made me go to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist gave me some tablets which I took for exactly 1 day. And I realized that my mouth is drying and I'm going very slowly. And I was in Noida, I remember. I just threw the tablets away. And I just ignored him, but the pain came back. So luckily, I found some other doctor who told me to do a 3D MRI. So to do a 3D MRI, this was found out. So basically what happens is that in your thigh, there's a bone, a femur bone, which is a very big bone, and it is covered like this. And this just breaks away. So avascular necrosis is stopping of the blood supply to a bone and the death of a bone. So this bone becomes like chalk, like very soft kind of, or like cheese, and that leads to massive pain. So once this 3D MRI came out, and I even that MRI guy himself told me, "अरे अभी तो आपको operation करना पड़ेगा, replacement, hip replacement का." So I got psyched. So then luckily that Dr. Shetty guided me to Dr. Sanjay Agarwala, who is the head of department in Hinduja.
And now
And
he's the CEO of Hinduja, literally. Right? He runs the hospital. Yeah.
he's a rock star, and I've been meeting him from 2008. My son was yet to be born, so 2008, and I was in excruciating pain. I just could not even put my foot down. And whosoever I met, they said, "तुमको तो अभी hip replacement surgery करना ही पड़ेगा." And at 35, it's very young. Normally, people above 50 used to get that. So when I met him, he saw me, and then we had a discussion, and we just had a connection. And he said कि देखो ऐसा है, I do surgeries, that's my occupation, my profession, I get paid for that, but I will not do your surgery till I am 50 years old, till he is 50 years old. And that's how we started. Then he started me on a therapy called biphosphonate therapy, which really worked on me. And slowly but surely my pain went away, and I started going back to walking and to gymming. And as it's quite surprising, because now he calls me his ideal patient. But when we now look at year after year of my x-rays, that bone, Vishal, is actually filling up, which is not something that normally happens. So you must have heard of the story of the bumblebee, where they say that the bumblebee physically can't fly because the body is too heavy and the wings are too weak. But
as per the laws of physics, it's not supposed to fly.
Yeah, but the bumblebee doesn't know it, so the bumblebee keeps on flying. So when I met Dr. Agarwala, I had AVN stage between 2 and 3. It went to 3 and now it's 4. And it is the final stage of AVN, which means the breakdown.
Wow.
So as per my x-rays, and touch wood, as per my x-rays, I can't walk. But I do, and I do walking. I don't do running, but
You've just done 30,000 steps a day. Clearly, that report is not true.
Yeah,
but again, tell me something. From saying that you need to do a hip replacement to now you doing this completely naturally without any intervention or surgery. What was the X factor? Because clearly there is something in you which others don't understand.
So I was thinking about it when we decided to have this meeting. I can define this in terms of 3 G's, if I may. And first G for me is just God's grace, and the good wishes of people. I think it's a lot of luck. I can't take credit for that. Second G is guidance from gurus, which can be doctors, my yoga instructor, my coach, my wife, the support that I get. And third G, slightly modest it might sound, but I think it's grit and guts, where you try to put your mind over body. Karna hai to karna hai. And then if the pain comes, the pain comes. So for example, yesterday I was doing yoga and I was doing this particular asana, which very flap your feet, which he said, don't do, aapko injury hoga. I said, hone do. We'll see. So I did that asana, and then later there was pain. I put a spray, it went away. So you have to push the limits of your body. And I think then the body will respond. And I personally now believe that the mind is stronger than the body. The mind can make the body do things that the body will tell the brain it can't do.
No, absolutely. And believe me, I have now done some treacherous trekking. We went to Everest Base Camp. And when you do, it's a 13, almost 11-day trek to Everest Base Camp. And after a point, your legs are not working. But it's your brain, because oxygen become when you're at high altitude, right? So what you just said is exactly the point. And actually, it's the mind which is more powerful than anything else. And I think in your case, you were able to get the mind together. But I think one other important aspect you talked about was guidance. See, the point is a lot of people are Googling things and सबको लगता है कि यार मैं Google करके सब आंसर ढूंढ लूंगा. But there is a reason why there are experts and coaches and doctors, and there are people who are guides, and their expertise is very important. So I want to right now actually invite one such expert who we wanted to get on the show. I want to invite Dr. Vandana. Vandana is an expert coach with GOQii, and she is she has done many things, but more importantly, she's also a physiotherapist, right, Vandana?
Yes, Vishal.
And you need to tell us a little bit about AVN, and first of all, what do you think about Abhijit's story? And we would love, because ये AVN ऐसी कोई चीज है मैंने सुना भी नहीं है, मतलब ये क्या हो रहा है?
Yes. It is a very rare condition. And as Mr. Abhijit is a live example, it usually occurs in our most productive years, right? Between 30 to 40. So that is when the onset happens. So basically, avascular necrosis, as he very rightly mentioned, is bone tissues getting dead, and gradually it is progressing. It doesn't go back. It is a progressive condition. And if it is, caught in the stage 1 or maybe stage 2, it can be well managed conservatively. But after stage 2, between stage 3 and then 4, I have not heard of any case who has not undergone a surgical intervention. So this, treatment that has come up, which is the biphosphonates, and Dr. Sanjay Agarwal is the pioneer in India for doing that, and he's published a medical journal and everything. So it's really fortunate that, Mr. Abhijit had a guide who was the right person for not letting him go into the surgical phase. First, he wanted to try this conservative treatment, and then maybe in the later years, if the disease progresses and based on his condition, they may opt for a hip replacement. But definitely in stage 3 and stage 4, surgical management is what most of the cases is done.
इनका तो उल्टा हो गया stage 4 के अंदर proper उधर वो बोलते हैं tissue has got regenerated. I don't know what is that.
Absolutely. So this is, I think, the the medicine that he's been taking, the biphosphonates. The main criteria of giving that is to help the cells, the bone cells, the osteoblasts regenerate within the bone itself. So they promote the regeneration of the bone, and it is, I think, a very long treatment, at least 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
You have to take the medicine and then the bone starts regenerating. So what I see here is a very highly motivated person, who's not ready to give up. He wants to try all the conservative management techniques before surrendering to the surgery, which is obviously the last resort. But hats off to him, because it is such a painful condition, Vishal. I have seen n number of cases when I was working with Dr. RML Hospital. We had an orthopedic ward there, and mostly patients come in the 3rd stage or the 4th stage where there is no other option left. Because, as he said, wrong diagnosis. And if it's a pain, they may think maybe kuch injury ho gaya, gym mein zyada workout ho gaya, or they just say sciatica pain hoga, it's just referring down. So all these, they are not properly diagnosed. And by the time you do an X-ray also will not reveal it in initial stage. Yeah. So that is the worst part. No one will go for an MRI on the first, instance itself. They wait for all treatments to happen, and then the doctor provides an MRI. So by the time that is done, it is.
No, this is so. Abhijit, tell me, how can you be such a high-performing CEO? Because your job, and now with your new role, clearly this requires high performance, targets, pressure from investors, board, colleagues. मतलब पता है, right? I mean, targets, सब कुछ होता है. You were going through such a big health issue condition. At the same time, you were a high performer in your company. A lot of people just don't go. तो बोलते हैं मैंने company को छोड़ दिया, मुझे 1 साल तक. People normally people can't manage both. Dealing with a condition and a job at the same time. How were you able to do that?
So let me actually give a slightly opposite answer, because I'm guilty of this. They always say that even if you run the rat race and win the rat race, you're still a rat. So, for a long time, I've always put my work ahead of my health and family. And there have been massive number of occasions where I'm not well, I'll just pop a pill and do the work. So I think that has changed over a period of time. Otherwise, it was just work is worship, work hona hi chahiye at any cost. And that will lead to, and as they say, in the pursuit of wealth, you go and screw up your health. And then to get your health back, you again go and destroy your wealth. But something like that happened. But I think what also happened with me is that, somewhere down the line, I started becoming an art of living follower. So meditation is something I got into very early.
Jai Gurudev. I am also a follower of Shri.
Jai Gurudev.
Yeah.
So, one of my photos you would see it is with Sri Ravi Shankar ji. So
I just was there last week and I had a darshan of Gurudev. I was in Bangalore.
Wow. I saw your photo.
Yeah.
I saw a photo. So they have an app called Sattva, which is something I have been using day in, day out. Even if I'm sitting in the car and there's even 15 minutes time, I will sit at the back and do that meditation. So I think that has really helped me. One is the physical pain. Second is the overworking of the brain and the mind, the anxiety, the pressure, the politics at work, and all that despair, saying, is it really worth it? But somewhere else, Art of Living talks of Shraddha, Seva, satsang, and what was the third S? You would know. I'm not able to get that word now. But when we actually go through these three, it really helps. So
Sattva. They talk about sattva.
So calming the mind down, balancing it has really helped me a lot. So at one end, I really want to do exceedingly well in my professional life, but I also want to ensure that health, which I believe is the true wealth, family life works out, and you also do some seva, which actually gives you much more satisfaction.
Amazing. I think I did not know about this part of your life of meditation being such an important one, because finally, if you can control or not control, if you can have your mind under calmness, then any storm will just pass by, right? That's what it is.
It's actually sadhana, seva, satsang.
Yeah, sadhana, exactly.
Sadhana is your meditation and breathing.
So tell me, Vandana, you have now under GOQii seen, thousands and maybe lakhs of players under your coaching and your coaches. What is it that you find different with Abhijit? Why are the other people still not able to achieve? We have so many people who 5,000 स्टेप भी नहीं चल सकते, right? I mean, and उनके पास कोई ना कोई excuse होता है हर एक चीज के लिए कि ये ठीक नहीं है, वो ठीक नहीं है. तो मतलब what is it that we think we can draw from Abhijit?
Yeah, see, the first thing I notice is he is concerned about his health. That self-care and self-motivation is very much evident in him. So he is not pushing his health on the backseat. That is his priority. Whereas many players that we get, many of our clients, the coach has to push them first. He pushed for n number of times to make them realize, that health is the priority. If health is there, you can achieve anything. So that is what I see in him. He has, over a period of time, realized that health is the most important wealth we have.
Abhijit, now how do you translate this health is the wealth to your colleagues and your customers? Because you are in the business of wealth management. आपको तो उनको mutual funds देने हैं, stock investment करना है, you have to advise your clients, all kinds of things, right? Yeah. So how do you integrate your philosophy in your organization as well as your customers?
So that is very, very important, because this is also has become a passion for me. Wealth management is a passion, but even health management has become a passion, and I'm trying to get more and more people to follow that mantra. So at work, by the way, I am the oldest employee. The average age of our organization should be around 28 to 30. So I always tell them that I am the old man, I will push you. So I keep on pushing, and we do a lot of initiatives on health is wealth. So for example, on 15th of August, on the Independence Day, we actually had 5 criteria that everybody kind of had to achieve. Either a 15,000 step kind of achievement, 15 kilometer cycling. If you can't do it, do 15 push-ups. If you can't do it, do 15 sit-ups and that kind of stuff. We once had a contest of the on I think no, I don't remember now, but health is something that we keep on pushing each other. So we have these people who cycle in the morning, so we have the WhatsApp group where they will actually post their pictures saying aaj maine 50 kilometer kar diya, and we try to push each other. We actually also had launched a campaign on weight loss. So though actually weight, I believe, is not the true indicator of health. It's more about fitness and energy. But we did something on that. What is it called when we do that long plank? Yeah.
Plank.
So we had done. Sorry, that was the word I was missing. We did the longest plank challenge, and I can do up to 2 minutes. But you would not believe this. There were people who could do 15 minutes also. So we had those kind of things. So, I genuinely believe that a healthy employee is a happy employee is a productive employee. And I think at a younger age, if that discipline comes in, it will really go a long way in helping that individual, personally also, professionally also. So I push through the health agenda using my position of power. If I am the boss, then people have to listen to me, and I can push the health agenda also at work.
Fantastic. No, I think that's really important, right? So getting your employees motivated to do this. But tell me, how do you get your clients motivated? Because clients jinko paise lagane, in fact, I jokingly say that before somebody needs to invest in equity, उनका blood pressure check होना चाहिए. Anybody with high hypertension should not be investing in equity, because equity markets can cause a lot of palpitations to people. So how do you manage health and wealth for your customers?
So I'll tell you something, I have realized. So I've been meeting wealthy clients, we call them HNIs, high net worth individuals, for the last 25 years. And I have seen them getting more and more aware about their health. The typical image of a rich guy who is very fat and unhealthy, that is no longer true. People are getting serious about their health, and whether it is exercise or mental fitness through meditation, yoga, I think that awareness itself has gone up. So it's not something that we have to push for, but whenever you meet clients and clients become friends, and typically people become rich because they are passionate about a lot of things, and you discuss your passions, and typically health discussion happens over a period of time, and then we discuss various things that both sides do to improve our health. But generally, I think India has become, and you both are better judges, has become a much more health conscious country than a decade back, and post COVID all the more so.
Because one thing, Abhijit, and I'm sure you are also seeing a lot, right? Suddenly we are seeing a lot of people who are healthy who just die. Suddenly, there are so many cases कि कोई marathon runner था, कोई cycling करके घर आए, and suddenly you saw that they had a heart attack and they passed away, right? So are you seeing a lot of these cases? And I don't know, Vandana, if you have any point on why is this happening? Because एक तरह से are people overdoing health also to some extent, because people try to do extremes.
Yes, absolutely, Vishal. I mean, not only overdoing with exercise or gymming, but they're not taking care of the other vital parameters that you need to take care of. That is, first and foremost is the stress levels. Every individual nowadays is highly stressed out. And if you don't manage that in time, it is going to reflect on your health. Plus, the other thing is sleep. They don't give that much of importance to sleep. Whereas as we coaches and experts, we know that 7 to 8 hours of deep sleep is very, very important for not only your medical conditions, your general well-being also. Because all the detox and the regeneration happens when you are in deep sleep. So people are not giving importance to stress and sleep mainly. And yes, overdoing, especially the young brigade, they will be eating junk and outside food. They think 1 hour of gym and I am free to have anything. That balance between healthy eating, and of course you can, have a cheat day once in a while, but on a regular basis, at least 5 to 6 days, stick to normal healthy eating. So that balance is very, very important, which is missing, I guess.
Wow, that's a very important talk. You talked about sleep. Of course, Abhijit, again in the financial world, they say that sleep is the most rare commodity. So how has your experience been with your own sleep, and now what do you tell your young colleagues? Because problem है कि जो young लोग हैं उनको लगता है कि सोना मतलब मैं काम नहीं कर रहा हूँ, I'm lazy. Sleeping equals to I'm lazy. So for them, doing an all-nighter is a badge of honor.
Yeah. So there's something else that you should know. You don't know this. At 35, I got AVN. At 31, 32, I got blood pressure.
Ooh.
So that was because huge amounts of stress while running in the rat race. So stress, as Vandana ji said, is a massive problem, and stress management is something that is I think a lot of organizations, including our organization, is actually working towards manage. So let me talk of both stress and sleep. Stress management, the stress may not go away because it depends on how one takes it, but the organization can play play a big role in managing that stress. And I think with COVID, work from home and work from office parallelly, a few days here, a few days there, itself is a lot of reduction of stress and better work-life balance. I think sleep is a lot of people say what you are saying, kyun sona hai yaar? And this big bank says, no, we never sleep. That's the slogan of one of the largest banks in the world. So I think I have realized over a period of time that I also was doing the same thing. And energizing, re-energizing, recharging, you do it with the phone every day. Why can't you do this with yourself? I think 4 hours, 5 hours sleep is nothing. For me, at least 6 hours. If I sleep for 6 hours, it really helps. And I have got no shame in saying this. In fact, my professional coach had told me, you are a CEO, बहुत stress है, तुम ना office में take a power nap. So I tell you something, I used to work out of India. Even during my AVN time, I used to work in Vietnam. I was based in Hanoi in Deutsche Bank. And there the culture is so nice. The office, everything starts at 8 o'clock, close at 5 o'clock. There's a 1.5 hour lunch time. आधा घंटा खाने को, 1 घंटा सोने को. They all have sleeping mats in the office and they sleep in the afternoon. So if there is a possibility of a luxury of a power nap, whether it's in the car, on the way somewhere, in the cab, in the bus, just take it. If you take a 10-minute afternoon nap, it is equivalent to 1 hour of sleep in the night, as far as I am concerned. It really recharges you.
That's really, really interesting. So tell me again, Abhijit, you have traveled the world, you have seen many health apps, you have seen many wearable devices. So what was your experience with GOQii and what did you think we have been doing differently? Because, you've been now using GOQii for some time.
Yeah. So, people who are watching should know that I have not been told to answer this in advance. I'm not advertising this. I'm not Akshay Kumar. But, around 5 or 6 years back, we discovered GOQii. And in the organization that I was working, we actually bought GOQii for 300 people. And as I see, it always works. They say that the word team stands for together, everyone achieves more. So when we do it together, it really helps. So my GOQii band, and again, something I'm telling you very honestly, I have an Apple Watch, but I prefer my GOQii band. And I've been, I find the way it fits very well. I find the graphics very good. I find the coach. I find in fact, you can even put in the number of liters of water you're drinking, the number of hours of sleep. By the way, I also drink 3 liters of water every day. Wow. And that also is a big important thing along with your sleep and exercise and diet.
And we also have a very detailed meditation section. You should explore that also within the GOQii app.
There's also now a very nice shopping mall.
Yeah.
And I've got those coins which I haven't not used till now. But I just like it. I don't know. The features, I find it useful. I find it value for money also. And I think somebody once told me, which I realized later, that it also measures the oxygen levels, which a normal Apple Watch kind of device does not measure. But I think the entire package now really works well.
Yeah, so our idea was the ecosystem, right? So in fact, interestingly, I see a lot of parallels between our business and our business, right? You are trying to do wealth management, we are trying to do health management. See, because data सबके पास है, सब लोग अपना न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ सकते हैं कौन सा स्टॉक खरीदना है कौन सा नहीं पढ़ना है, but they can't decide. Information is too much. Yes. So just like in the area of wealth management, you need a very good wealth advisor who has no conflict of interest from you.
Yes.
Similarly, in health, you need a health coach or a health advisor who has no conflict of interest. The problem of the healthcare system is कि उसमें conflict of interest है, right? अगर hospital आपसे ऑपरेशन करके पैसे कमा रहे हैं तो हॉस्पिटल थोड़ी बोलेगा मत करो, मतलब they also have expenditures at the end of the day.
Yes.
So I think our vision really was, and like I said, we took the leap from the wealth management of saying that how do we make sure my interest is aligned with the result of our users.
Yes. So in fact, if you allow me, I'll just tell you this small thing. It's important to take a helicopter view. In wealth management and health management, I work for Fisdom Private Wealth. Here we have defined our purpose as helping people achieve their life's dreams and goals. So it's like a bade bhaiya, it's like your coach, personal trainer in the gym. It's like your friend, philosopher, guide. So in the journey of life, you want to achieve various goals, which are like your personal dreams. For that, you also require money. And for that, you require money management. And for that, you require management of 3 vectors: safety, liquidity, and returns. And as you rightly said, give advice which is right for the client without looking at how much are you earning out of it. And then it really works beautifully. Similarly, health management, I think what GOQii is doing that only. Keep the end user first. Agar uska fayda hoga, sabka fayda hoga.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Abhijit. And I think what you just said is keep the user at the center, right? And that's really the key. So Abhijit, given that you have now done so many things, what are your future goals? What are you thinking? I mean, you are now hitting your step targets. I saw you. Did you start doing cycling also, right?
I have been doing cycling earlier also. Yeah.
You've been doing cycling. So abhi kya lag raha hai? Where do you want to go in the next, and hopefully post-COVID things are going to open up?
So let me give you a slightly philosophical answer. Okay. And starting with the very popular dialogue of Shah Rukh Khan, picture abhi baki hai mere dost. So when I when I came out of COVID, and it is like a rebirth, because I actually was reborn. Somebody asked me, if someone goes through this kind of experience, there are two kinds of reaction. एक रिएक्शन होता है कि अब बस हो गया, मैंने अभी देख लिया हॉस्पिटल में, अभी मुझे काम नहीं करना है, रैट रेस नहीं करना है, मेरी फैमिली, मेरा हेल्थ, आई विल टेक केयर ऑफ माई सेल्फ. Second reaction is, it's a rebirth. I've been given a second opportunity. Now I should go and achieve much, much more. I think I am in the second school of thought. I believe that there is so much more to do and so much more to achieve and so much more of impact to create. So whether it is personal goals, professional goals, health goals, whatever, family goals, everything, there are so many things to do and time hi nahi hai. So I am very excited, and as they say, a dream, a goal is a dream with a timeline, right? And one of my favorite lines in life is that today, for example, today is 29 September. It's a very important day because it is the first day of the rest of my life. So kya karna hai? So, I am a great believer in goal setting. And I do it at work, I do it at home, I do it on 31st December, but I also do it beyond that also. So wow. I think it's important to keep on doing long-term and short-term goals. My short-term goal is very simple. I want to enjoy life. I want to do a holiday. I want to, as I said, do 50,000 steps. I want to lose 6 kilos, which I put on weight after COVID. But long-term goals are too many.
So tell me, what is the reaction of your family? उनको क्या लग रहा है कि अभिजीत को हो क्या गया, मतलब I mean, because I'm sure they have seen the version 1 of Abhijit who was stressed and the rat race, and now you are no longer in the rat race, let's assume that. So what has been the transition for your family?
I'm still in the rat race, but I'm compartmentalizing the entire rat race. But on the lighter note, मैंने एक बार कहीं पोस्ट किया था कि there are 3 B's in life very difficult to please. एक है बॉस ऑफिस में, और एक है मेरा बेटा बेटी जो भी है, और एक है बीवी. So it's very difficult. I think I'm still trying after 20 years to get my wife to get a good opinion about me. But she said, you were mad, you are madder. But on a serious note, I think I wouldn't have done anything, whether it's in any stage, in any phase, without family support. So I think my wife of 20 years, her name is Shweta, and she would have joined, but she's not in Bombay. I think she has been a big pillar of support. And together we, things have not really changed as much. I have just said that slight priority now, health, family is above my work. That is all that is there. It's not that I'm going to do less work or do time to have. There is a lot of time. You can manage your time. As long, 2 skills, Vishal, are really important in life. One is people management, other is time management. If you master that, I think it's much easier.
Well, I think what you again talked about is long-term view. See, the problem is we are in this world of instant gratification.
Yes.
Everybody wants कि यार मेरे को इस महीने को क्या बोनस मिलेगा मेरे को, nobody wants to look at anything from a long-term perspective.
Yes.
Similarly, investor would say मेरे को return अगले महीने चाहिए, मेरे को 5 साल नहीं रुकना है return के लिए.
Yes.
Similarly, health also is a long-term outcome, right? If you go for shortcut, it will hurt you, right? People do all this keto diet and ये सब करते हैं और बाद में उनका किडनी फट जाता है. मतलब the impact of anything short-term is very, very bad in the long term, right? Based on the concept of painkillers, right? People consume painkillers, but the painkillers eventually create so much more challenges. So how do you trick, or not trick, how do you convince, whether it's a customer, whether it's an employee, to start looking at long-term outcomes and not short-term outcomes?
So there's an economist called Keynes. He once said that in the long term, we are dead. So that's why he says that think of medium term and short term. But you're right, instant gratification is now very popular. And I also had done this diet called GM diet, where you in 7 days you lose 2 kilos and that kind of stuff. But in the lockdown, I'll tell you, I went back into serious walking in the lockdown when a lot of people added a lot of weight. I used to walk 10,000, 50,000 steps every day and kept on losing weight, which did not really come back till the entire COVID episode happened. So I think it is something, either you experience it, but the smart people, smart people learn from lessons learned by other people. And it is great to learn, they say failure is a great teacher, but why fail? Learn from somebody else who has failed. So if somebody is watching this program, he should see that this is how it works. And the way to do it is just keep on telling people again and again and again. Forget about health mantra. Let me tell you about sales. I've been in sales, and in sales, we always say that the saying is take the horse to the water and the horse will drink. We say no. Take the horse to the water, open the mouth, put the water in the mouth, close the mouth, and hit the mouth till the horse drinks the water. तो आपको बार बार बोलना पड़ेगा. फिर लोग say, otherwise people learn from accidents. People learn from bad news and bad events. But I think it's important to not wait for that and get yourself set. Health also, for example, unless something really bad happens, somebody stops smoking, stops drinking, starts walking, क्यों उसके लिए वेट करना? आपको मालूम है कि जैसे I remember this line somebody told me when I turned 40 कि कल से तुम अभी शुगर मत खाओ, सॉल्ट मत खाओ, तेल मत खाओ. I said, फिर बचा क्या लाइफ में? But that is how it is. I don't have sugar in my tea for many years. I don't have diabetes. It's just a matter of habit.
So, you just talked about a very interesting point here. And I want to call this, this whole thing of longevity. India ka jo life expectancy hai is among the lowest in the world. I mean, in India, we are at 67, 70 maybe. Japan is at 85. All the Western countries have people living longer and healthier. India में, and there is this attitude कि यार मेरे को ज्यादा जी के क्या करना है, right? This whole thing कि हाँ मैं क्यों शुगर छोड़ दूं, चलो 5 साल में कम जी लूंगा, right? So there is this attitude that I am willing to live less, but I want to indulge and I want to do everything which is wrong. But the reality is that people are now suffering in their old age. What we are seeing is people who have, they are on kidney dialysis, हो रहा है, ये hip replacement, knee replacement, so what is happening is that, yeah, they are getting a longer life, but the quality of life is becoming extremely poor. What is your view on how can people change this mindset? Because otherwise, we will have a very, very poor, citizens, right? I mean, हमारे यहाँ diabetes, cholesterol, hypertension, सबको है. मेरे को वही लग रहा है 20 साल बाद क्या होगा हमारे देश में?
So, I'll give you an answer on two things. One personal, one global. My father is today 86 and touchwood is quite healthy. And two things he has done. He was extremely active in his younger days and he just kept on walking. He used to walk many kilometers to catch the train, go to his house and that kind of stuff. And obviously he did not even have stress. That's a different matter. He was in a government job. But today also when I meet him, he has this one slogan. He stays on the 29th floor in Thane. He says, every day I look at the setting sun and I tell sun, kal milenge. So, that power of positivity is very important. At a particular age, people give up and there are no goals. Where if you don't have goals in life, it will not really work. You have to set goals for yourself, even when you are 90 years old. And the second thing is what my father did and what I'm now trying to do. 40s is the best decade because 40s you have health, you have money also, you have more amount of money. But what you do in 40s is you party hard, you drink every day, you smoke, you eat whatever you have to eat. And that 40 to 50 critical period hai, that misuse has an impact once you cross 60. So my suggestion would be 40 ka jo decade hai, that is when you party hard. That's no problem. Party hard, but you work out hard. You eat right, or as Vandana ji said, party over the weekends. Weekday mein mat kariye. So that is one point. Second point is you spoke of Japanese people living old. There's a concept in Japan. It's called ikigai. Ikigai, it's a slightly complicated concept. It basically says there are 4 circles. It's a Venn diagram. One circle is what I love doing. Second is what I am good at. Third is what I get paid for. Fourth is what has an impact on others. So let's talk of, say, Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin Tendulkar loves cricket. He is very good in cricket, or he was very good in cricket. He got paid well in cricket, and he gave the audience a lot of happiness. So the common point is called a sweet spot. So if you have that sweet spot in life, your passion and your profession is the same. In the morning, you jump out of the bed saying, "Aaj mere ko to ye karna hai." So that makes you live long. And that is where I think Japanese score over everybody else. And that is something I would tell people. One has to go beyond loving what you do to doing what you love. थोड़ा फर्क है उसमें. हम लोग पहले तो we don't even love what we do. हम बोलते हैं साला क्या जॉब बकवास है. So वो छोड़ दो, आपको जो अच्छा लगता है, start doing what you love. That is what my.
Anna, we have a new health coach and life coach and business coach in the making over here. What do you want to add on this topic of longevity?
Absolutely. It's a treat to listen to him. I mean, the wisdom words. I'm noting down also a few points to pass on to my coaches so that they can also follow that. Yes, definitely, the passion for living each day on a positive note is very, very important after a certain age. I'll give you an example. Today only I have a WhatsApp group of my society, and there's this lady who's 72 years, retired, very well settled, everything is perfect in her life, but she never, misses on surprising us with new things she makes. Today she's posted a post where she's made planters, those expensive planters you get from Ferns and Petals and all. She's been making those saplings for the last 3 months. She's made pots out of them, and now she's presenting them as gifts to everybody. So why would she want to do anything at the age of 72, So I was so happy to see a lady of her age, trying to utilize her time in a very well manner. Sometimes she'll come up with making brownies and cakes for everybody. So that is, every day is a treat for her. She keeps being positive in life, basically. So that is what we all should do. As he said, set a long-term goal, definitely, but set a short-term goal for every day. Today I have to do this. This is very important. I keep telling my kids also that, they want to sleep till late and everything. I feel you wasted half of the day. Why can't you get up and do something constructive? But I guess that is the age. But definitely have a goal in your mind and be happy about what you're doing. See, Vishal, even about my professional life also. I never thought I would join again a job. But I joined at the age of 42, and I'm now here with GOQii for the last 6-7 years now. So I feel so happy that I'm contributing something to the society, not only for money, but doing something good for others also, making them learn about health, making them care about what they can do about their health, educating people, taking care of your team as, the coaches, educating them. So you should look forward to something constructive and positive, not only for yourself, but for people around you as well.
Well, I think you said a very beautiful thing, Vandana, and I think Abhijit also kind of. So we have to develop this whole at a society level change needs to happen. See, health, ये सब ना मतलब हम लोग individually जो भी कर लें, but as a society that needs to change, and that change will happen at home, our own kids, our own families. You have to be the best example, and I think with Abhijit being the CEO of the company, he's leading from the front, because we see that everybody wants to ape successful people, that what are they doing, and if you just keep reading क्या ये successful है, ये तो सोता ही नहीं है रात को, खाली दारू पीते रहता है और पार्टी करते रहता है, तो लोगों को लगेगा हाँ वो ही करना है. That is how successful people lead their lives. But I think listening to Abhijit, listening to what you do with your life, and of course in my case I also spend a lot of time on meditation, yoga and exercise. I think our work will be done if people listening to this, especially the younger people, can take inspiration that, listen, don't be part of the rat race. You have to lead with your long-term goal. The rat race will take you where the goal of the rat is. You don't want to do that. And with that, I know we've already exceeded our time, but Abhijit, your advice today was of a sage. Like I said, you should soon start your own YouTube channel, Instagram, and give this advice, because बहुत कम ये advice मिलते हैं. I'm telling you, and no wonder you are so popular on LinkedIn. I really kudos to you, and we are so proud of your achievement. You're great. Your entire health journey is inspirational. So looking forward to actually inviting you again on the show at some point of time, and hopefully now meeting you also physically now that the lockdowns are getting, we are both in Mumbai, so we will do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so
everybody.
much.
Thanks,
It was an honor meeting you in person, and a great motivation. This is going to really motivate many people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Abhijit. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Vishal. Goodbye.